Oh my god, fucking stay! Thanks. What is up, proprietors? Steve Sakanikas from Proprietor Lifestyle, bringing you the 15th, the Retro Mellow episode of The Proprietor Lifestyle. I'm a couple days into this social media break that I'm taking. So I deleted Snapchat, I disconnected my Instagram and Twitter accounts from the app, so I'm only using those two apps for Proprietor or other purposes. And I just realized that I was spending way too much time on stupid shit. Instead of doing something productive for Proprietor or for school, I was on Snapchat looking at someone biting a piece of pizza. I was on Instagram looking at an outfit that somebody wore yesterday to go out to the fucking bar. I was on Twitter reading someone bitch about something completely irrelevant to me in my life. It's self-awareness that's really what it comes down to. When I entered 2017, my thought process was foundation. I wanted to set a foundation for my life going forward, whether that's a bachelor's degree or a new business venture or something like that, and social media was just taken away from it and making that less possible. I picked this time because either October 19th or October 21st, I don't remember, the New York Knicks start their season. I'm always very active on Twitter during basketball season, whether it's talking with other Knicks fans or, checking out the latest reports. Twitter, as you guys know, it's real time, so everything happens like that. All the sports news gets broken on Twitter, and then 5 minutes later it's on TV, 10 minutes later it's on Facebook, 20 minutes later it's on Instagram. So Twitter's just a place to be for breaking news and everything like that, and I always like to be the first to know, especially when it comes to the Knicks and Carmelo and everything like that. So that's why during the season, I need to be on there. So like I've been telling you guys for the past couple episodes, I'm planning a bunch of shit for Proprietor going forward, and I wasn't making much progress on it because I was very unorganized. Usually I'm a very organized person. My room, believe it or not, it kind of looks disheveled, but like it's very organized. Everything is in place. I know where everything is. And I just wasn't planning out the projects well enough. I hate to admit this, but I'm taking a class in school that's actually helping me in my life. I know I fucking rip on school, but this is one class that I'm like, okay, I can apply this to my career. It's just about project management and everything like that. I have apps that I use like Trello, Evernote, just to kind of track some things, but I needed a application where I can go in, put the project, put the tasks, see when they're due, see the progress I've made, see what's next, see what I have to do. And I found Bitrix24. I was kind of Googling around for a little bit. Bitrix24 is a really in-depth software that allows you to manage projects and employees and just a whole bunch of other stuff. But right now it's only me, so I'm only using it to track my own progress. And like I said, it's really in-depth, so it might be a little more than what I actually need, but it's something that can help me track everything. With Skyscraper Sports, I literally had an Excel spreadsheet that I would use. Actually, I'm going to show you guys it. Like I said, I'm always very organized, and I actually like this because it would say progress, how much percentage is done, when it starts, when it ends, any notes on the project in general. So with Skyscraper Sports 2.1, I was obviously upgrading the website. So you'd double click and you would say, okay, here's a polls page. Did I do that? Yup. Here is social share and like buttons on posts, 2 plugins saved in bookmarks, done. CDN, which one was I going to use, max CDN, done. And it would just help me track everything, but it wasn't kind of that in depth, as you could see. Like, it's very generic. Create databases. Let me see what I need to do. Email newsletter and just like different steps in order to get the project done. So basketball tournament, that didn't get much progress done. Fantasy Spotlight podcast, buy equipment, see if restaurant can host it, first podcast episode. Never got around to that. So it would help me manage everything. So I made that about 2 years ago. As you guys see, I was always very conscious of project management and knowing that I needed something to help me track the progress. Now I'm just taking it a step further with Bitrix24. I have 5 projects that I'm working on right now, so it's just a matter of knowing what I have to do. That's the most important thing. a lot of people have an end goal, but they don't know what the fuck they need to do to get to there. And the whole kind of thing is you have to plan it out. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this by here, this by that date, this by then, and you make progress. It's more likely that you'll complete a project on time and exactly how you want it if you break it up into small steps, as opposed to if you just say, fuck it, this is what I want to do, and you just wing it. It's good to see it, whether you use Gantt charts, a list, whatever. Mentally, it's kind of like a psychological trick where you see, okay, I finished 3 out of the 10 tasks that I needed to do, instead of, okay, I finished 0 out of the 1 projects that I needed to do. It just helps you get in that zone and just know what you have to do and how to do it. It's Saturday. Carmelo Anthony is no longer a New York Knick. It sucks. Anybody who's spoken to me for more than, I don't know, 30 seconds knows how big of a Melo fan I am and how much I just appreciate what he's done for New York, for the Knicks, and what he has tried to do and bring the team a championship. They haven't had one since 1973. And the Melo era ended today. I mentally moved on from Melo on the Knicks in the summer when the Rockets rumors were really heating up. I actually got a text saying the deal's done, he's going to Houston, and as soon as the new GM, Scott Perry, came in, he didn't like the return that the Knicks were getting and just flipped the whole thing around. So today when I got the alert and I started getting a whole bunch of text messages, are you okay? Are you alive? I'm sorry. We're here for you. We love you, Steve. Like, to me, it's just more disappointing than anything how he was never surrounded by any real talent. And the 1 year he was, they won 54 games and were the second seed in the East, and he was an MVP candidate. I mean, he played with one All-Star in New York, and that was Tyson Chandler, who was an All-Star 1 year. And then people go and say, oh, Melo never brought the Knicks anywhere. He never fucking played with anybody. He literally had one All-Star for over 6 years in New York. 7 if you consider every single season. And just sucks, you know. I wanted him to be the guy to lead them to a championship so bad because the Knicks have been in such a drought and just the city needs a Knicks championship, and I wanted him to be that guy so bad. I actually wrote a thank you Melo letter on my website. I just wanted to show my appreciation for him. He's been one of the more underrated and underappreciated players for some time, in my opinion. Like ESPN released their rankings and they ranked them 64th. Like, they literally said there's 63 players we'd rather have or better than Carmelo Anthony. That is just. I used to get pissed off at that shit, like, you know, fucking respect him and everything, but now it's a joke. Like, nobody takes that shit seriously. 64th, yeah. Carmelo Anthony's the 64th best player. Like, shut the fuck up. You know, he went out every single night and gave it his all. Sure, he wasn't the best defensively. Sure, there were some things he could have done better, but, like, the dude is a fucking top 25 scorer of all time. And they just never surrounded him with the right pieces. And it sucks, like I said. But, I wanted him to go to Houston. It's always been a dream of mine, as weird as that is, to see him play with Chris Paul. I actually wanted Chris Paul to the Knicks in 2011 for him, Melo, and Amari to create their own big three. But OKC, man, Russell Westbrook, like, that's the fucking Brody right there. He's a beast. Reigning MVP, he's just a fucking animal, that guy. So I'm excited to see Melo play with him. And Paul George, I've always been kind of down on. Was never really a big fan of him, but obviously he's good. He's an all-star, so it's a big three right there. Do I think they could beat the Warriors? I'm not going to sit here and say that I think that they could beat the Warriors, but I think that they have a shot. I think they're the second best team in the West, and I think they have a shot at beating the Warriors in a 7-game series. Obviously, a lot has to go their way. The Warriors have to miss shots. The Thunder have to make a lot of shots, but just the fact that Melo is on a championship contender again, good for him, man. He's dealt with so much shit over the past couple years in New York and 17-win season, president taking shots at him, just fans booing him, just so much stupid shit that he doesn't deserve. I mean, he's a good dude. Like, I've met him multiple times, and just deserves more than that, like I wrote in my letter. So obviously had to talk about this. It's one of those days that I'll remember for the rest of my life. Like, Melo got traded away from the Knicks. And I was thinking about, like, the one thing that I'm gonna, like, the thing that impacts me the most. It's something so simple that, like, whenever I walk back to Penn from school, I always go down 32nd Street. His gym, Terminal 23, is on 32nd Street, down the block from Penn. I always walk down there, hoping that I see a bunch of fancy cars, and maybe Melo walks out as I'm walking out. It's just gonna feel weird for me knowing that he's not in New York anymore, because I mean, for the past 6 years, almost 7 years, he has been. So it's gonna be something I have to get used to. But I don't know. Just wanted to kind of thank Melo more than anything for everything he's done for the city, for the team, for the fans. Just giving us countless memories, and it was a hell of a ride. And it's time for him to go ring chase. It's time for him to go get that ring. I don't know if he's gonna get that ring this year, but he has a legit shot, and that's the first time he can say that since probably 2013. 4 years. So that's gonna do it. Kind of a somber ending to the 15th episode, the retro Melo. I wonder if he's going back to 15. We'll see. I saw on ESPN.com Kyle Singler is number 15, and they had Melo number 7. So maybe Singler will give it up if Melo asks. I don't know. So that does it for this episode of The Proprietor Lifestyle. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Got a lot of interesting content coming to social media exclusively. So stay tuned for that. And until next time, guys, peace.